way Lanham did. But all right, folks, with that, as you can see our beautiful stage, we hop into game one of this best of three. It's LGD versus Unknown. Here we go.
Need more taunts.
Already, the symbols are out. Attune is on the case.
All right, so whose lineup do you favor more? LD?
That's actually a good question. I think both lineups are very strong. It's, to me, entirely about the lane. So I guess let's look at the matchups here. It's going to be the Z-Talk Night Stalker heading towards top will be kind of supporting Greedy as a Wind Ranger, perhaps, roaming a bit. Attune mid on the Shadow Fiend, but he's going to be up against Maybe's TA. That is a tough matchup for sure. And you've got the safe lane Ember with a Dazzle. Not the most kill potential if the Dazzle indeed heads that way on a Darkseer. So I don't know. I worry. I actually slightly favor LGDs in terms of the laning stage and then their ability to take objectives. But if Unknown have that good start, there's really not that much control here for an Ember Spirit. Like, until you get a blink on the Shadow Shaman, how do you really lock them down?
Sylar Orchid?
Yeah, that would be the big way. But as the analysts point out, then you've got a very squishy Queen of Pain.
Mm-hmm. Always a Tusk Snowball to protect them, though. Queen of Pain scouted out the Night Stalker pretty early. They want to actually pressure the Queen of Pain a lot. Wind Ranger is not that bad of a matchup. In one-on-one, though, there's a lot of chasing room for Sylar.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen. Queen of Pain isn't traditionally considered that hard of a carry, so most teams are fine just trading farm, but putting some pressure on her would be an interesting tweak on the normal laning setup.
And Darkseer versus Ember, left alone on bottom, is not going to be easy for Ember Spirit in the early levels.
I'm surprised Attune doesn't get tired of the symbols. You know? Look at this guy. He's in Frankfurt at the major, just dancing around in the mid lane. So much at stake, but it feels like an average pub. Well, here come the shards. They want to punish this a little bit. He thinks about the turn with the raises, doesn't need it quite yet, and Z-Talk is here to protect him. Should be okay for now. Meanwhile, top lane, the Wind Ranger does get run down by Sylar. So the first blood goes the way of LGD. Very nice catch there.
I mean, he doesn't have a salve right now. I think he took a little bit extra damage. He also dropped his items before the bounty rune even spawned.
The salve is on its way now on the courier, but yeah, this is not the ideal start here for the Shadow Fiend. I don't know if the symbols are the cause. It was a pretty good shards catch anyway, but he's playing rather aggressively. So often the LGD offlane, we do see the Darkseer here, and you know, there was discussion about Disruptor, quite a bit of kill potential once you get to that level 3 to 5 range with the Ember and the Disruptor, but these two, Ben, they're not so good at killing Darkseer.
Not really good at zoning him out either. MMY kind of hidden behind enemy lines. Not level 2 yet.
So maybe does tank a few tower shots here mid. Will be forced back, and we're going to see Greedy rotate now as the shards come in, looking to catch out Excel. Beautiful catch here. Has one more tango. Doesn't want to use it. Figures he's dead anyway. And the snowball indeed says, yes, sir, you are. As Momoya makes short work here of the support player for Unknown. Now Greedy will grab that bounty rune. There is a DD rune bottom. Could be a big pickup for Z-Talk. Does have the boots, though we're not close to nighttime, unfortunately, for him.
And I think the first pick Tusk for LGD is certainly warranted, given MMY's Ice Shards placement, his early maneuvering.
Whose Tusk do you prefer, MMY or 11, if you had to pick one?
Well, they're both different roles, but I would actually say MMY maybe.
Okay. We'll see if he lives up to it. He did have the one shoddy game the other day, but other than that, he's been spot on all tournament, and even MMY's human after all. Only
Look at Z-Talk.
Yeah, trying to help his shadow friend out mid, and he certainly needs it. So, despite the early kills here, Kataro is farming very well on the Ember Spirit in the bottom lane, 12-4. The Shadow Fiend doing quite well. We are seeing some stacking, so it looks like the early economy for the cores will be intact. And this is kind of an interesting thing with Unknown, Ben. I think it's worth discussing since everything's fairly passive for now. Is they tend to have much more of that, like 2 fat carries and then 3 very poor heroes syndrome than some other teams.
Yeah, it's true. And especially this game, those supports are really poor. Night Stalker's still level 1, Dazzle with the early First Blood, and I don't know, they seem to manage to pick up their Glimmer Capes and other items at a reasonable pace, though, so they don't seem to suffer too much from that.
Yeah, that's where you really want to see, once the Ember Spirit of Kataro gets his, level 7 or so, maybe he starts to move around the map and they give the lane to a support, try to set up some ganks. It will pressure maybe a little bit in the mid lane, but MMY is sitting in reserve with a Clarity as well as a Mango. That would be dangerous, and I suppose the big thing here is that this off lane currently not being contested at all by Greedy. He's back just scouting the top rune very early there.
Yeah, it's a tough lane for a Wind Ranger, especially with Shackle being pretty much the entire duration of Wind Run.
I mean, there's the option of maybe sending the Night Stalker there, but then your Shadow Fiend's left alone. Is this just a necessary sacrifice, or?
Well, they want to prioritize farm and the Shadow Fiend. It's not that easy of a matchup versus TA, and just getting him stacks as much as possible.
Is really toying with maybe, or does get the bottle back now. We'll heal up as we'll see an Invis grabbed by Z-Talk. It is nighttime, only level 2 on the Night Stalker. In fact, the Shaman of DDC already 3.5, so you can see the lack of pressure here, Tom, does have its consequences early on. Makes his way forward is...
Oh, he ran into Sentry Ward vision.
Yep, creeps are going to hit him, so he knows. But he is also denied any sort of pressure in that lane, and meanwhile, someone who was not scouted, swinging towards mid, it's MMY. Gets the ward down, attunes out a bit far, Snowball's going to come through, the shards are available. It's not a catch though by MMY. A missed opportunity, and suddenly Z-Talk arrives from behind, and Attune has been given a freebie. Didn't get the last hit there, but still denies the gank. Even forced out the mango for that attempt.
At least he dropped an Observer Ward safely, and Tusk is probably wondering how they were able to respond so fast, and they have an Observer Ward of their own.
Yeah, very nicely done there. And meanwhile, top lane, there's a jump forward onto Greedy, gets caught up by the shackles. He already popped the Wind Run, so he's got no way out of this situation. Throws out a power shot, but it's to no avail. So a good retaliation kill there by LGD. So they continue to get a lot of early levels on DDC. 4 and change already. The Night Stalker just clipping level 3. Excel also only 3.5. So we're going to see those fast Shaman wards at this rate.
And an underfarmed Wind Ranger. She fell out of favor because she wasn't really able to stand in the off lane.
Big jump forward by Attune. He's gotten really far into the tower. Only so much the Night Stalker can do to protect him, and they're going to rotate the Queen of Pain. Tyler wants to put a stop to this, but there's the deny! Beautifully played by Z-Talk. Forces out the TP. They do lose their Shadow Fiend, but in the end, he is able to avoid giving away the kill.
They actually needed the TA in the Snowball, too. He didn't bring the TA along with the Tusk. Just for that.
This does secure the 6-minute rune. Maybe he's going to get it, but it's a bounty. And meanwhile, regen bottom.
LGD have really good wards up in the jungle, though. They're still blocking that small camp, and then they have kind of good vision of where SF's going to be. So maybe they can jack his stacks with the Darkseer once he has mana.
And I mean, you just compare. I've been comparing the supports. Well, mid lane, a little bit of pressures. Maybe he's going to back off, but the off laner seems to be the biggest trade-off. That ROTK level 6, Wind Ranger level 3.
At least he has money for boots.
It's the little things.
But the items for the offlane Wind Ranger are scarce, and even then, like the mech build for the Wind Ranger has been completely out of favor. Not really sure what item build they're planning on going for. Maybe 4-staff, but that's also been a little bit out of favor. I want to see how they utilize this Wind Ranger.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. For now, has gone for the very traditional 1-2-1 build. Sometimes we do see the support Wind Rangers even opt to level up the Shackle over Power Shot if they feel like they're really going to be the experience starved, but it's not come to that point yet. As there is some action bottom lane, dive, Kataro fishing for the RTK kill, he's going to find it. The shards are there, not fully trapping him, and he jukes, but he's already committed all the remnants. Does force out the double hero rotation, gets the kill, but will pay with his life.
Maybe pressuring Attune in mid.
Oh, maybe he might be about to get pressured, but no points yet in Mel. They could go for this one. The raise comes out. Maybe has the fresh refraction, though, and with the trap being dropped, Z-Talk can have a hard time running him down. Support is inbound. Shadow Shaman moving into position. And it looks like DDC could cut off Z-Talk here on the way out. Let's see. It's clubbed a few times. Now tanks a void, but in comes the TA, and there's the shackles. A little bit of extra damage with MMY here as well, and Z-Talk has overextended, will go down. LGD just punishing the unknown heroes that dive in a little bit too deep once again.
I think he expected the Shadow Fiend to be up there. He was playing like, okay, we can kill this Shadow Shaman. If he shackles me, you can just hit him with a double raise, but he was busy farming out the creep wave in mid lane with not enough mana to raise out the lane and come over.
What Shadow Fiend build do you expect this game? We've seen sometimes that early Sanjin Yasha, the mech.
I think they need an early mech. It's not coming out on the Wind Ranger anytime soon.
LGD definitely looked like they could 5-man a lot early.
Because you have to worry about LGD taking out Roshan very early. Not only do they have a TA, they're also on Dire, and they have the Shadow Shaman, who is level 5 already.
And that's the big thing here. They banned Visage, worried about that ability to take objectives, but Shaman can maybe even do more there at the Rosh. pit if he gets the fast level 6.
MMY doing a pretty good job of reading the ganks from Unknown, sitting their bottom to protect ROTK, sitting their mid to help out the Shadow Shaman, although not picture-perfect placement with his Ice Shards yet.
The smoke now. MMY will be looking for a little vengeance in the mid lane, bringing in Sylar as well, level 8 already. And Atune is in a very compromised position, but LGD is there to reveal the gank. Maybe they get both. They commit the quad bolt, and instantly Graves looks for the TP out. He's gonna make it! Beautiful play. Just skates away still, though. Atune could be in trouble anyway. There's nobody home. Help me, he says. Help me. He's got the stick. Heading onto him. Pops it now. Maybe. Chain. Backup has arrived in the form of Kataro. He's gonna get a second kill. But out they blink. Sylar will escape. So they bring down the Shadow Fiend, but it cost them 2. And Kataro, all of a sudden, we haven't seen this build as much lately, but it looks like he might be rushing those Boots of Travel. 1,800 gold up.
It's going to be pretty good. I don't know if he might be susceptible to the Queen of Pain burst, though, if he does do that, as well as the Tusk, so he has to play it pretty darn carefully. They had a lot of physical damage, and he can't rely on Flame Guard too much. That was a great grave by the Dazzle there. It's really quick.
Very quick reactions, and also protects the Shadow Fiend by revealing the gank, so well played there. As Katara will take over the mid lane for a little bit. Looks like they want to make a jump forward on maybe. Dangerous to dive him here under the tower. LGD, while this was all going on, managed to siege out the top tier 1. Not the best tower defense available for Unknown, so they do let it drop. That will be some additional gold for the LGD machine, now leading by 2,000 gold, 2,000 experience, this entire laning stage going their way when it comes to the numbers.
And they have a pretty good opportunity right here, I think, to try and siege Darkseer and the rest of LGD before Darkseer gets his mech. He's still 400 gold away. It's going to be nighttime pretty darn soon. And Atune actually is a little bit further away from his mech than I expected.
Yeah, he did get the stacks, but in terms of the laning stage, it's 70 CS, so I guess stopped off for the Aquila as well, and that may be slowing him down just a little bit.
But almost level 6 on Night Stalker and BOT's up on Ember Spear. I think it's a good time to hit.
Yeah, nighttime not that far off. Only a couple of minutes to go, and Zitok, as you mentioned, is getting his levels bottom. It's been kind of quiet here from LGD lately, with the wards on cooldown. They're waiting for those before they really look for the objectives, but...
And no ancient stacks from, or not that many ancient stacks from LGD.
And they have been warded, something a lot of teams are not disciplined about doing.
Sentry ward dropped on bottom lane, does not find the observer ward. Looks like MMY purchased a smoke, getting ready to hit. They want to get a kill and then take a tower down with the Mass Serpent Ward, but it's going to be right before nighttime. It's almost there.
Mech is ready. Shackle's going to latch in the mid lane. It's a level 3 Shackle. He has opted to prioritize it, but no follow-up at all. I think it could be an opportunity, but maybe with the Refraction active is just too tanky. And they do have their mech now, along with the Clarity, so Unknown may be gearing up.
Once he gets his focus fired, they can take down the Refraction really quickly, but precasted by maybe no kill there.
Yeah, the Ember does have the BOTs as well, so if they really see an opportunity, Kataro could jump in. For now, opting to hold that bottom lane.
Yeah, I think everything's ready for Unknown. Mech, nighttime, plus BOTs. It's a good time.
And what are LGD waiting for here?
Mech on ROTK for sure.
Okay, they've got the wards back up on DDC now. When do they look for that first big objective? The tier 1 mid, tier 1 bottom, maybe the Roche. It's only level 2 meld so far, but maybe we'll bottle what could be a very fight-changing rune. Gets that haste. This is a scary moment for Unknown.
Looks like ROTK has TP bottom, MMY already spoken in his inventory. This is the time. They don't have vision in the Radiant jungle though. That ward already expired for them.
Yeah,
They're going to meet head on though.
Excel moving in towards the mid lane, but he did walk over this trap here, so was scouted. Shackle's gonna last, they're gonna connect, it's a 2-hero grab. Kataro jumping forward, catches out one, but he gets shackled in turn. The counter shackle, can he make it out? No, he's not able to. Then the quad bolt comes in from Sylar, they decimate 2, and they're hunting for more. The mech is still available. They can look to turn this with the Requiem. Atune gets it off, it hits all 4. Does he have to follow DDC? Blasted down, can Atune fight his way out of this? The quad blinks away, he's gonna turn back from MMY, and meanwhile LGD hunting the stragglers. The trap slowing him down, the TA gets locked onto the Shadow Fiend. Power shot not up to bring down Sylar, and they turn back for 2 with 3 dead. He gets 1. Can he find maybe? Refraction still has 4 charges up. Shackle cooling down. Turns, drops the trap, wants to fight, re-engaging onto Atune. Man mode here from the TA, and in the end, we'll all settle down, and it looks like it was a 3 for 3.
What an excellent shackle coming out from the Wind Ranger, and nice reaction coming out from the Shadow Shaman too. He hexed and bought time for the snowball so that the Darkseer could drop his spells. He managed to get his wall and his mech off before he died.
Imagine if that Ember Spirit didn't get burst at the beginning of the fight. Kataro pretty close to being able to get out of there.
Yeah, no points in Sleight of Fist. Sometimes that like 1 second of invulnerability is enough to save him.
Another shackle again, greedy. Maybe the real star of the show here. They're gonna silence maybe, and that's the TP. MMY says, get the hell out of my mid lane, and these kids will get off his yard, at least for now. So Excel. The deep wards have been pretty good here for LGD. One of them's worn off, but they still have one up towards the secret shop. It's going to scout this Dazzle's rotation, and now time for the Ancients. Might not be the biggest stack, but this is the Templar Assassin advantage that every team looks to take advantage of.
Yeah, they wasted 2 sentries, though, trying to deward that Observer Ward, and it's still going to stay up for a good 3 minutes.
A little extra gold here in the LGD's pockets. They'll take what they can get. Rotating in bottom is Kataro. Still no points in Sleight, so doesn't have the easiest initiation, and they're going to show RTK mid. There's a backstab being attempted here by Z-Talk, but that would be a very bold maneuver. Radiant squad only seeing the Darkseer right now.
Ooh, that's a very early Orchid coming out from Sylar. That's problematic for the Ember Spirit. He went BOTs, but has very little HP. He doesn't know this gank is coming.
Oh, it is nighttime as well. Very tricky. There's the reveal. Jumps in, but Kataro able to just walk away. They couldn't get in range with DDC.
Yeah, and the Flame Guard's still up for about 5 seconds time, but gonna run away once that's down.
Oh, he's sticking around for now. And they are wrapping with MMY. He's got another ward. The deep wards have been trouble. Z-Talk will scout out MMY, though. Quickly gets out the Void. Draws first, and now they chase forward. He drops the ward while being pursued, but there's Kataro. Baits out the snowball, gonna drag him back away from the reinforcements. Oh, does go to the creeps. MMY will end up going down. Good attempt there to escape, but not enough. As Sylar farms a camp, Z-Talk hunts forward. RTK with the surge. The Queen of Pain into the trees, blink out, and Sylar will TP away. Can they catch him? No points in sight yet.
It's not a bad move for LGD. They got a ward down, they got the tower, and only sacrificed MMY's life, who managed to complete his urn before dying. So that's pretty good.
They saw that. He did drop it in vision, but they might have been busy chasing.
Yeah, the night times have not been that devastating for LGD. That fight near the Dire Anxious would have been a lot worse had they not had that Observer Ward to set up for the Shackle.
Still, I am wondering at what point do LGD look for those big objectives with the Shaman wards. Haven't tried to take the tier 1 mid or bottom yet. They continue just to farm and play a more spread out style.
Well, they have to wait for maybe to get some items. He doesn't have anything right now. He's very close to his Desolator, but compare that to the Shadow Fiend, who already has a mech and most of his BKB, an Ember Spirit who has, looks like drums and BOTs completed.
I mean, compare this to what we saw earlier today as well. I think there was, what, an 11-minute Desolator with these same items? Yeah, not the fastest start, and granted, maybe has not gotten a whole lot of help.
They had the luxury of being able to take out Roche, you know, in maybe 10 seconds time, maybe even less, if they have a medallion.
And that's where the Radiant Vision could be very problematic. Just one illusion currently up towards the pit. Now the Deso complete. LGD, is this their time to make a move? They are going to shake a leg, and they head towards the bottom ramp. Maybe they do sneak into the Roche pit. At the same moment, a blink grab by the Wind Ranger could be that source of initiation. So far,
Smoke's gonna happen around the same time.
Will the timing be right here? The Toon's still farming, and they might already be too late, even if they head now. It doesn't look like they're going to. So this will be more or less a free Roshan for LGD. Very patient play from them. Some whipped opportunities earlier, but maybe we'll grab it. Gets that extra life nice and early for LGD. And now Unknown gonna have a really hard time bringing him down.
I mean, Shadow Shaman has been just so nice and being able to just feel very safe when you're taking out the Roche. If the other team tries to contest, they have to fight under the wards. They managed to come out slightly ahead in the last fight because they were able to drag the fight away from the wards and down near the south side of the river. But with Roshan, you don't have that luxury.
They probably figure the wards are down, granted, but this is still a very bold maneuver. Smoking against the Aegis.
Well, they know they probably use wards for it, so it's a pretty good time to do so.
Let's see if they can actually get that jump. Moving towards top.
There's a blink on the Wind Ranger, so that's a kind of a new item that LGD are not going to expect. So Tusk, I think, has to make big plays. Tusk or Shadow Shaman, or even ROTK.
And Z-Talk was the man in front, but it is currently daytime and did not want to pop that darkness. Didn't see any opportunities. They do manage to get a deep ward down, and it is going to scout out Sylar as a little drummer boy. Raises the morale here for the Unknown squad top, but LGD, they mount the assault mid instead. The Desolator comes into play now. Kataro getting scouted out by a Tramp. Very nice placement there for maybe. He will force out the Remnant, a little paranoid about getting hexed, and wise that he did as DDC poked his head into the trees, see if anybody was lurking. They'll take down the tower. LGD, systematic so far. They already also grabbed the tier 1 bottom earlier. A small trade for Unknown, but they're giving up quite a bit of map control with that mid tower down.
The Ember Spirit's farm has suffered because he's really scared of the Orchid. He knows that he can die if he's too far out and without Flame Guard up, but his gold's, 2,000 below the 2 cores on LGD.
Yeah, Kataro is sitting very far back. Even opted for the drums as well, just for the bit of extra HP. That's going to delay any sort of bigger item to deal with the Orchid or to accelerate his farm.
So this might actually be a good fight for Unknown. Nighttime's closing in pretty soon, but with the wards drop, very unlikely to take a fight, even if it's 4 on 5.
He's really taunting LGD here. DDC doesn't have the blink just yet, though.
Yeah, no Orchid, no blink. That looks fine for them.
So they're going to trade on mid as Attune posts up. Excel is here next to him, but the shards scare them back. So it's another tower grab by LGD, really making great use of this Aegis. 19 minutes in. They have managed to grab quite a few crucial towers. The tier 2 bottom, the tier 1 mid, and now back to stacking Ancients.
But Unknown haven't been able to really pressure that much with the Night Stalker as well as the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit with the split push threat, and then Night Stalker with the darkness, vision, and being able to just scout out LGD before they can scout them out. But the TA traps certainly help a little bit with that. But at the same time, Unknown are falling behind in terms of farm and objectives.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. He's got a haste and a DD, and he is on the hunt right now. Dropping the traps at the Ancients, sprinting up the ramp. He is not afraid. This is not a good time to engage, and I'm not sure they'll get caught here. Unknown gonna smoke again, though. They are quite close. Smoke almost revealed. In fact, Z-Talk, his smoke did break. Don't think the Dire Squad actually saw him, but they know somebody's nearby, and Z-Talk. Looks like he may be seen here by maybe, but it is nighttime. The trap gets dropped on the high ground, out of range. And meanwhile, up in the Dire jungle, they found that Blink Shackle. It's onto Sylar. Big grab! Again, it's Greedy, making the plays for Unknown.
Nice observer ward placement by Unknown. Yeah, that's kind of exactly what they needed.
They had that quote-unquote failed gank earlier top, but this did allow them to get the ward down.
But we might see a solo kill attempt by Shadow Shaman with his recently acquired Blink Dagger.
Oh, Kataro does pop the Flame Guard here, so at least that Ether Shock isn't going to bother him.
He doesn't have any remnants out. They can hover over him and see that.
Maybe he's moving in. If he gets in range with the Deso, this is death for Kataro, but he senses something coming. He's going to back off, and meanwhile, Greedy applies a bit of pressure on the top lane, forces RTK back. They get another deep ward down. This one over towards the mid lane, so very good maneuvering here by Unknown. Ensuring that they won't be caught entirely off guard, and it looks like the Ember is going to go back into that Manta style now. Grabbing his Blade of Alacrity, Yasha complete. Nothing too greedy here for Kataro.
So it looks like they probably need a blink on a Tusk to deal with the Shackle Shot coming out from a Wind Ranger. There's so much burst at the start, and they don't have the luxury of having a Grave to save them. So that's kind of the next best counter that they have.
Just for the Blink Snowball, you mean?
Yeah, I think Blink Snowball is pretty good, especially without Shadow Fiend having a BKB. It's very unlikely that he's going to be able to get a Requiem off to counter that.
Let's see. Kataro's still farming. And I feel the big thing for Unknown is they haven't gotten forced into a 5v5 against LGD. They've been able to spread the map, mostly trade so far. But do you see LGD allowing that to continue?
I mean, they've been positioning themselves pretty well.
Attune, this could be bad. Caught up by the shards. He pops the bottle. He tries for the Requiem. That ain't gonna happen. Symbols or not. He too bleeds. And LGD grab the kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're diving a bit deeper. Kataro able to get the chains off onto maybe, but he jumps forward. Hasted and double damage up again. Off with your head. Slices up Excel. And what do you know? Has the perfect rune to lop down this tower as well. 2 quick kills. And LGD surge forward, looking for high ground. No buybacks available. The wards are ready. 1-2 mistakes, and all of a sudden the base is in jeopardy. LGD showing that killer instinct here. So they might not be able to fully break the base. They're at least going to grab this tower from the looks of it.
And no buyback from Shadow Fiend. So this is definitely a free T3.
Yeah, no real damage here on Kataro to actually deter the push. Still very early in the Ember's game. Tower will fall. LGD gonna play it safe. They don't try for the racks or anything like that. They'll back away, get their next round of items with BKB now up on Sylar, and maybe very close to one of his own if that's the choice. 3,300 gold.
The Ember Spirit has been very hesitant to jump in, though. I can understand why he's scared, though. There's like the Tusk lockdown, the Hex, and the Orchid for him to deal with.
Just BOT'd into this lane. Could be in trouble. The Blink Hex, quick reveal. Kataro also dead. LGD 3 in a row as they continue to find the picks all over the map. And now the Blink on the Tusk does come online. Big core items coming out as they now exceed a 5,000 gold lead. Experience also going their way. Excel drops a ward, and a Wild Shadow Shaman's there. Oh crap, that's not what he was looking for. DDC, he gets off the shackles. That's 4. LGD heating up.
I think the biggest difference in this game is the position ones. The Queen of Pain has been doing a lot more than the Ember Spirit has. He's been kind of playing very scared. He went for a greedy build, yet he's still number 6 in terms of net worth, whereas the Queen of Pain with the Orchid has just been making Unknown feel very, very scared. No one really wants to go out by themselves, and no one really can, I guess, aside from the Shadow Fiend.
You compare that to, like, say, Aggressive, who didn't go for the BOTs. He went for a lot more stats items, but he also shut down the enemy supports because he ganked so early.
Yeah, I think it was because he died at that fight at the Ancients. He's very scared because of that. And I think that was before the Orchid came out, but not having the Sleight of Fist and not being really quick with the Remnant really, really hurt him.
On the back of that whole skirmish, they got down 2 key wards here on the Radiant side of the map now. LGD, the battle for vision continues, and they get a lot of it out of this.
They just have much better pickup right now.
Oh, close call top. Almost got caught there, but was behind the tree. But still, he BOTs in top, he kills 1 big camp, and then he's got to jump home. So he's not really getting that farm efficiency, as you pointed out.
But you have like 3 heroes that can solo kill an LGD. The Queen, the Shadow Shaman, and the TA, who are both very, very strong. And Unknown, really, I guess, just a Wind Ranger, but even then, she can't do it by herself. She has the Blink Shackle, but no damage to follow it up.
Well, this systematic pressure and ganking has paid off as LGD now find themselves up not just 5,000, but 10,000 gold, 7,500 experience,
and Shadow Shaman's able to push another tower by himself.
What do they do about it? They're busy running for their lives, it seems. The Sylar does scout out Z-Talk top. It looks like he's going to build his Assault Cuirass next, so gets a big item to help siege the high ground. That's going to be a lot of minus armor for these buildings. But first, they await the Roche, and what do you know? He's up. Grab the bounty rune, perhaps? No, they're going to leave the bottle for now. Looks like MMY will take it, perhaps.
At least Wind Ranger is getting a lot of farm, though. That can somewhat make up for Ember Spirit's lack thereof. Already with Scepter completed. That's a pretty good timing for offlane.
I just worry about the Ember's relevance. The Wind Ranger can still offer a lot with the Shackle Shot, but what does an Ember do without farm at this stage?
Well, he just can't get jumped. He has to, use his Sleight very well, use his Remnant whenever he thinks he's about to get Blink jumped, and sometimes you'll just see like Shadow Shaman's Blink jump and the Ember has already slighted or already uses ultimate, and then the Shadow Shaman's stranded. He's never really pulling LGD into any of these positions, though, and just letting them always get the jump. And they should have the vision advantage, too, with Night Stalker in the game.
At what point do you see LGD?
It looks like they're about to smoke under a ward.
They had eyes on Kataro. If he stuck around a bit longer, they could have gone for that Blink Hex, which DDC has been on point with. Pretty much every kill set up by him this time. Let's go back to that top lane where he really didn't feel any pressure. And that's something we often bring up is Shadow Shaman. Not the strongest laning support if there's an aggressive lane, but it was anything but. BKB forced out by Sylar. Nicely played by Greedy, but now does need to walk away.
That's pretty good. And they had the BKB freshly acquired.
RTK jumped in, a bold step forward. Can they set up the Shackle here? Greedy could go for it. Actually had a 2-hero opportunity, but then would have been fighting into the Aegis. And
I wonder if they saw the BKB on Shen. Well, if they didn't, they certainly do now. But that was actually, it looked like a risky play by RTK, but the Wind Ranger aggressively blinked, so he expects the whole team to be behind them, and they didn't see them with the Observer Ward order trap, so expected as smoke and correctly predicted.
I'm starting to feel like they need a gem. As Atune is a little frustrated perhaps with the map control Unknown have. I'll taunt a bit with the Requiem here, but not looking to leave the home front very often. It's a little split push from Excel on the bottom lane on the Dazzle, but nobody's really getting out of the space now. And that's where the graph just continues to plummet.
I mean, Unknown has to make a move sometime. If not, they're just going to give up Aegis Cheese, and then they're going to siege with the separate wards, and that day is going to come.
I feel like they might need a gem at this point. Look at the wards. They're completely hemmed in.
Usually you don't see a team confined like this with the Night Stalker.
Now looking at the smoke situation, there's none available for 8 minutes, it appears. That certainly isn't helping them get out of the base anytime soon.
I mean, even if you smoke, like maybe he's going to be far up in front. They have to do a smoke wraparound to eliminate the Shadow Shaman. I would say he's priority number 1.
Excel might be dead very quickly with this DD rune. I think that's a one-shot as they start the siege. Queen of Pain just hunting a bit for Kataro top lane. Got off the silence, but not able to finish him off. But the real action is on the mid lane, where maybe is quickly dealing with the creep wave. DDC gets down the wards. Looks like they might only be in range of the range barracks, but now RTK jumps. There's the back the wall as well. They need a little more lockdown here. Shackle coming through, not going to connect, but does focus on the maybe. They're able to bring him down once with the Aegis. Can they bring him down a second time? That's the question here. He's going to be coming back with a lot of firepower. BKB as well as a double damager, and he lunges forward onto a tune, blasts him to smithereens. No chance. That Shackle holds MMY in position, but now he gets off the snowball. Maybe very healthy through this, and it looks like he is going to be able to bring down the melee racks. Big dive. MMY takes one for the team, but they get the objectives here. LGD, there's the 2-hero Shackle, but do they have to follow up? They need these kills. This is a lot to give up at this stage of the game. Kataro lunging forward, gets off the chains. Maybe, though, still at full HP, and he jumps in. Lops off another head, keeps on hunting for more. The Night Stalker retreating to the south. Z-Tug looking to run. They get the Blake. The Shackle will connect on a Sylar, but it's too slow. The damage from Maybe is simply overwhelming. Oh, might get Z-Tug. There's the Glimmer Cape. Barely able to retreat, but to what end? The base is in shambles, and the Graphs are as well. It was a 4-hero massacre in the Radiant base, and they're not done yet. Maybe he continues pressure, looking for the second lane of racks.
Very nice systematic siege coming out from LGD. Also a great presence of mind for them to drop the gem. Tusk had the gem on him initially, and he died like right outside the fountain, but luckily it was placed on the chicken before. But, I mean, LGD just waiting for the perfect timing and getting it every time.
Ember was thinking about a Midas, but I don't know if a Midas is going to get you back in this game. Maybe that works in NA Dota, but not here at Frankfurt. LGD are not going to wait around for 30 minutes.
Yeah, they kind of just let Shadow Shaman farm his Blink and Queen of Pain farm the Orchid without any pressure at all. They played very safe on the top lane, even though they had a Reservoir Ward up there. And now MKB up on TA, that's really devastating for Wind Ranger. And now I think even with the Mantis style, Ember Spirit can't man up at all.
It's just that one Blink Hex, so he's dead.
Also really nice Blink punch from MMY to stop the Requiem. That would have been a lot of damage coming out, although maybe was BKB.
Sylar is going to find Kataro, and just manages to buy the Manta. Quickly going to use it here. The Shaman arriving, but not before he's able to jump back to base, so... Well, at least the Orchid won't kill him now, but there's a lot of other tools here at the LGD Armory to try and focus Unknown down. So, let's see. Do they want to just go break the base now for a second lane? Or do they play it super safe? They did see one hero poke out top. They've got the lane ward Greedy into the trees. May get caught here in a moment. This could get ugly. Even throws out the power shot, then blinks back, and it's right past MMY. Pops the wind run in a panic, goes for the TP out, and will make it. So, not a little space created, but quickly penned back inside the well. They're struggling to get out, and they have been for some time.
Yeah, it seems like they're overall just very, very scared to make moves, getting punished like once or twice by MMY in the early game, and then after that they're like, nope, we don't really want to go for kills now.
I'm just wondering when the second round of aggression will come from LGD here. If they want to wait for Roshan, a couple minutes to go potentially.
I mean, bottom racks is exposed, and it's daytime, so I think it's a pretty good time to go bottom, although they don't have the Aegis.
They do have the wards and the Glimmer Cape now officially arriving, as well as that Shiva's Guard for RTK, but he is going to back off. Not normally a move in RTK's arsenal, but this time it will be as he tries for the Ancient stack here. Looks like he'll get it. So it seems they may ultra slow roll this, barring a pickoff, and even wait for that next Roshan.
In LGD's mind, the only chance they lose is if somehow they're caught off guard with the Night Stalker, or by the Night Stalker rather.
Taro caught up bottom lane, goes for the Sleight of Fist. Remnant back, but he did have one deep behind enemy line, or at his own lines, I should say, where it needed to be. And that last auto tech for Maybe is going to finish him off. Quick pick for LGD. A little sloppy. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sylar just manning up, goes on to Greedy, but he is going to tank the focus fire, forced to blink away. Sylar hasn't really had that dominant performance, but it's been enough. He's going to retreat again. Just they can't really punish him.
And Ember Spirit with the recently acquired Manta style will not have buyback. Wards at the ready for DDC. Looks like it could be another lane.
It may well be. They have the glyph available. The ward's planted in an excellent position up on the high ground. Attune, only with the BKB now, still lacking on the actual damage items. Can definitely not man fight the TA. So they'll lose the second lane. This one basically for free as LGD continue to rip apart the unknown base. They back off and they glyph just for the hell of it, you know, to give unknown a sporting chance. Not sure it's going to matter though. Pushing in all the lanes, and now the wait for the Roche. It looks like it's going to begin.
Yeah, that'll coincide with the ward timing from Shadow Shaman, but overall, I think Unknown were just maybe a little bit far too passive this game. I think
now, do you think that stems from the draft or from their laning decisions and execution?
I mean, we also could have seen Ember Spirit go for like a Treads Drums, and maybe he would have felt more comfortable running in and having his team back him up, especially with like the Mech Heal and Grave. But
so more of that aggressive style of Ember than.
I mean, more. I think like they just didn't really feel it together as a team. Like maybe
bottom lane, Kataro quickly jumped, hexed up, now held by the shackles.
I think they were
three
just
mangoes.
on,
This is basically the white flag being waved.
They're just on different pages though.
Yeah. Now they're up against a very staunch opponent here in LGD. A lot of TI experience between these players. They've all been there and done it before, and looking to do something similar here at the first ever major. As deep behind enemy lines is Maybe. He's going to blink out. LGD grouping up. Looks like they're going to coalesce on the top lane and press forward. Trap deployed.
Shadow Fiend also is partaking in the Mango Madness.
Well, if nothing else, Unknown will have something good to eat while they contemplate how to do better in game number 2. But LGD want to put them out of their misery. They're up onto the high ground now, chunking through the creep wave. Maybe the man in front, the Blink Shackle is there. Unfortunately, won't latch, and now the back wall to turn it. Quick damage from Maybe, chunking down. 2 heroes in a matter of seconds, looking for more. Tyler there with the ult, only hits Excel, but enough to drive him back at least. And during that time, they just hit so hard that the racks are about to fall. Well, actually, no, just the 1 hero shackle, but what does it matter? Greedy gonna get caught out and done, and Unknown, they'll tap out here in game number 1. LGD just never gave them a chance to come online.
Not enough taunts, not enough item drops. What was the issue?
They had the symbols. It felt like they just let LGD dictate everything. They had 1 or 2 smoke spin, those didn't connect. Other than that, they basically sat back and just let them slowly take over the whole map.
It didn't really seem like they could control the Darkseer at all, too. I think they had like 2 or 3 heroes down at some point, and MMY with an early kill on the Darkseer, or early kill on the Shadow Priest kind of forced them into a